Joining us here on the show is one of the greatest running backs of all time. He is a Pro Football Hall of Famer, and he's joining us on behalf of the Sun Bowl and the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, because Tiger Mission is part of bringing underprivileged youth more opportunities. Very cool to welcome him back here on the show, LaDainian Tomlinson. LaDainian, good morning. How we doing?
Doing great. How are you, man?
I'm doing great as well. I always love our conversations. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. We led off this morning talking about Lamar Jackson, and he's going to be not quite 100% tonight. Do you worry at all by the hits that he has taken this season that he could be physically worn down by the time we get to the playoffs?
No, not this season. Lamar is a young man. He's still fresh into his career. And so I don't worry so much this year, next year about him wearing down, because he, as a young man, when you're in your young, early 20s, you can take all this pounding and you can, bounce back from little injuries that you might have, during the season. So I'm not particularly worried about this season. That I think he'll be fine. A quad injury, is really something that you can play through. I mean, it really, unless it's extreme, which I don't think it is. We've seen Lamar out there on the practice field this week, so I don't think it's extreme. But, I think it is something to monitor going forward if he has a problem tonight.
Do you think the Ravens can beat the Patriots in Foxborough if they don't have the 1 seed, or do they need home field advantage to get to a Super Bowl?
No, I think they can beat the Patriots in Foxborough. This is, this brand of football travels anywhere. I mean, they can play the Patriots in El Paso, where I am right now, and I think Baltimore will beat them because of the matchup. That offense, I'm telling you, is so difficult to stop, even if you see it a second time, because Lamar Jackson is throwing the ball so well now. If they were just running it around and not really throwing it well, then I would say you can stop it. But right now, the way he's throwing the football with those tight ends and all the weapons that he has, it's going to be difficult to stop. And that defense is playing better than most defenses are right now. They started out a little, they struggled starting out the season, but I think as they have gelled and the chemistry has gotten better on defense, man, they are playing well. So I believe that they can shut down the Patriots, especially with the way that their offense is performing right now.
Yeah, that Ravens defense getting overshadowed by how great Lamar Jackson is. But you're right. LaDainian Tomlinson joining us this morning here on the show. When you looked at what the Chiefs did last week, winning in Foxborough, did it give you optimism that maybe the Chiefs could win a couple of games of the playoffs, even though they're not as dynamic as last year? Or do you think that they're just a cut below the Patriots and the Ravens?
Well, no, I said it. I think it was a few weeks ago. And I was on one of the shows, and they asked me about the Patriots and the Ravens as the top two teams in the AFC, and I said at that time, I'm not ready to count out Kansas City, even though they were going through they struggled, and Patrick Mahomes was hurt at that time. I still believe that offense is so difficult to stop. I mean, you have speed all over the field in Kansas City. Like, the one thing that scares defenses more than anything is speed. If you can make defenses back up, and I guarantee you, Kansas City with that offense, they will make Baltimore back up. And once you do that, then everything else is open. Kansas City defensively have started to play better. They have, over the last, 3 or 4 games, they're giving up about 13, 14 points a game, so that's better. I really believe, in my opinion, the two best teams in the AFC are Baltimore and Kansas City. I wouldn't put the Patriots up at the top two.
Yep, and it's probably unfair for me to even say that maybe the Chiefs could be a cut below, because they just went and beat the Patriots last week in Foxborough. So LaDainian Tomlinson joining us this morning on the show. You are joining up with Mission Tiger, and this is such a cool commitment and cool cause, because you are a Texas native. The Sun Bowl is coming once again to El Paso. And this is all about making sure that young people who don't have a lot of opportunities get opportunities, especially in sports. So how is this working with Mission Tiger?
Yeah, so this is really fun for me. As you know, I played in the Sun Bowl about 20 years ago, and so I'm excited to be returning. And you know what's ironic is when I was here the first time in El Paso, I actually visited the middle school. That's part of, when you go to the bowl games and you do community events. I went out and spoke to some of the middle schools, and now today I come back to get involved with what Mission Tiger and the Dick's Sporting Goods Foundation is doing, which is donating $500,000 to every middle school. All the middle schools in El Paso will benefit, which is about 27,000 students. And it's going to help with equipment and anything that these schools need to help fund their programs, because as you know, the funding is leaving. There's not much funding anymore for a lot of the middle school programs, and they're losing their sports. They're losing equipment, and they can't afford to fund teams anymore. And so this is going to go a long way to helping these middle schools get what they need to keep the kids playing sports.
That's visit missiontiger.com. Go on their website, missiontiger.com. Go to the donorschoose.org campaign page, and there teachers, coaches, administrators can learn how to apply for funding that LT is talking about right now. Running back question for you. LeVeon Bell went bowling despite missing the game the next day with the flu. Did you think that was a bad look or not a big deal?
No, it was a bad look. That's bad optics. If you're not going to play in the game, and you're ruled out, you can't be seen in public doing activity like bowling. Because if you can bowl, then certainly you can get out there and help your team. And so there's no question it was a bad look.
LaDainian Tomlinson joining us this morning on the show. You excited about the Sun Bowl coming up here in a few weeks now?
Yeah, I am. Which it's been named now Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl.
Yeah.
Which is and it's really bringing it back to its original mission. So I think the Sun Bowl for years has done a tremendous job. Think how long the Sun Bowl has been around, and it has maintained, kind of its prestige. And so many teams, when they're announced that they're going to play in the Sun Bowl, they look forward to it because it really is a fun time, a fun game. And the people in El Paso do such a great job of hosting the teams for this game.
This game will be shown on CBS on New Year's Eve at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Seminoles and Sun Devils. Arizona State and Florida State in the Sun Bowl. LT, it's always awesome to catch up, man. Thanks so much, and I love the cause as well with Mission Tiger. So this is very cool to catch up with you today.
Thank you.
You got it. LaDainian Tomlinson joining us this morning on the show, Pro Football Hall of Famer.